what does an economist make of the latest drive by the Trump administration to increase import tariff protection on imported goods into the United States? I think the first thing I make of it is that it's these days a less optimistic United States, a less confident United States, less confident in its ability to compete globally, and that's becoming an increasing concern for it. The next question we ask is, where does it come from? That's difficult to say, but the one thing that has been noticeable in recent decades is increasing income inequality in the US. It's not to say their unemployment rate is necessarily bad. It's actually relatively low, but income inequality has been widening. And typically when that happens, when a portion of the labor force at the lower end sees itself going backwards, relatively speaking, relative to the rest of the population, it can be that those voters, that portion of the voters, start desiring more protection for themselves, support as well from government. Now, protection and support can come in various measures, but one of them is to protect jobs. And the one way you can do that is to protect industries through import tariffs. The other way is to protect against immigrant labor. And it looks like the US might be moving that way too, to a degree. But that's for another day. On the import tariff protection side, do I think that this will make the US more competitive globally? No, I think it'll make it possibly less competitive. Yes, it is true that manufacturing's share of GDP has declined, well, not only in the US, but I guess across the world. So it may turn that around, but it runs the risk of protecting inefficiency, protecting uncompetitiveness, and that filters through to the whole economy in the form of higher cost structures, and the US somewhere down the line, I think, will be less competitive. Exposure to competition, exposure to the English Premiership will make you more competitive as a football team than exposure to the Scottish Premiership, with all due respect. And I think it's the same in economies too. If you cut yourself off, you're probably going to become less competitive. But there can be investment in certain parts of the economy, let's say certain manufacturing sectors that are tariff protected. Certain investors will see an opportunity to invest in manufacturing production plants there. However, the problem at the moment is they need more certainty. Investors need certainty before they invest billions, and we don't have it. We have Canadian tariffs, Mexican tariffs, then a deal gets cut, then they go. China's big tariffs, then a deal gets cut, they come down, then a court says tariffs are illegal, and the next one says no, the appeal court says no, they can stay. That's not an environment, that uncertainty, conducive to massive investment in US production capacity to take advantage of tariff protection. We need to get to a stage of more certainty over the long run regarding import tariffs in that country.